Episode 4 of Dragon Ball DAIMA is out, and we saw a lot of interesting stuff. We even got a sense of the power level of some characters from the Demon Realm, and maybe we even discovered some characters there that might be stronger than Majin Buu. What's that all about? Stay with me, and I'll explain why I'm saying this. Stay connected to the channel, and let's get into the video. Episode 4 is called Chatty. The episode starts with Goku, Shin, and Glorio freaking out over Glorio's spaceship being stolen. After that, they have to continue their journey on foot, with Glorio saying they'll need to find some other vehicle. Goku suggests they could fly since it would be faster, but Glorio warns that flying there is exhausting because of the heavy air, and Goku realizes he's right and agrees. In my opinion, this was an interesting idea by the anime, since the fact that they can't fly and that Goku and the others have to travel on the ground reminds us a lot of classic Dragon Ball, when Goku couldn't fly and had to travel either on foot or with some vehicle. Also, the fact that they can't fly very well makes the exploration more interesting and challenging. For example, soon after, the anime moves to a scene where they have to cross a chasm with several floating rocks between the edges, and below is the Sea of Darkness. They're about to cross the chasm by flying, but suddenly a monster that looks like a fish dragon emerges from the Sea of Darkness and attacks them. Since he can't fly very well, Goku is in trouble. But then Glorio steps in and takes down the monster. If Goku could fly normally, Glorio probably wouldn't be necessary, and we'd miss this chance to see him shine. And this scene also gave us an important revelation about Glorio's power level. Glorio defeated this monster with incredible ease, impressing both Goku and Shin. Goku even says that Glorio is probably stronger than Shin. According to official information, Shin's power level is similar to Goku's at the end of the Cell Saga. If that's the case, we can already deduce that Glorio has at least a power level between full power Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2. That's the minimum. If that's true, it means that Glorio is indeed a very powerful Majin, since Dabura, who, as far as we know, was the top power reference in the Demon Realm until recently, excluding the Tamagamis, had a power level close to Cell's, roughly comparable to Super Saiyan 2. The fact that Glorio is stronger than Shin potentially makes him one of the most powerful warriors in the Demon Realm, unless there are indeed many warriors there who surpass the level of a full power Super Saiyan. Anyway, I won't speculate too much because Dragon Ball DAIMA is challenging some information from official guides, as we've already seen in previous episodes. So maybe Shin isn't as powerful in this anime, or perhaps Goku is referring to the weakened power of Shin as a child. And as the episode continues, it's Goku's turn to show a bit of his strength to you. This happens when a Majin, who looks like an ogre, attacks them, and Goku, even with his body feeling very heavy because of the air, manages to dodge this ogre's attacks and knock him out with just one hit. But what impresses Glorio is that Goku sensed the presence of this Majin before it appeared, while Glorio didn't notice a thing. Then, they explain to Glorio about the ability to sense ki, something Glorio apparently didn't know, since he doesn't even know what ki is. This is probably going to be important information for the future, so let's remember it. They keep walking for a while until they come across a restaurant shaped like a teapot and decide to eat there. In this scene, we get to see a bit more about the cuisine of the Makai world, with Goku liking some things more than others. But the most important thing is that Glorio plans to get a new vehicle there. He asks the guy who seems to own the place if he has any vehicle, like a plane. The old man replies that he doesn't, but says he can sell something called the Sky Seed. At first, the old man wants to sell it at a rather high price, but then Glorio does his usual haggling and gets it for a lower price. Meanwhile, at another part of the restaurant, Goku and Shin are looking at some foods and find an insect that the restaurant's owner says is a type of medibug, which, according to her, restores stamina when eaten. And of course, Goku immediately compares this insect to senzu beans. However, it seems that unlike senzu beans, which quench hunger, restore energy, and heal all injuries in one, each of these insects has a specific function. Some are for beauty, some for headaches, and so on. And the most curious one is, without a doubt, what the restaurant lady calls the join bug, which is a type of insect that if eaten by two people can fuse them for a while, making them stronger. So it's like a fusion bug, so to speak. Goku gets very excited, especially about the join bug, and asks Glorio to buy it. So Glorio decides to take a few of these insects. After that, they go outside the shop to use the so-called sky seed, with the old man making a huge fuss about it like it's a show or something. Then the woman brings out the seed, which seems to be a sort of cannon in plant form. When they ask what it is, Glorio explains that this sky seed is the seed of a flower called the Great Fiend Flower. And when Shin realizes what's about to happen, he doesn't seem too thrilled, and it seems that this sky seed is basically a cannon or some kind of missile, judging by its shape. Goku, Glorio, and Shin simply get on this missile and are shot into the sky, covering a long distance very quickly. One thing that caught my attention was Shin's fear upon discovering that the seed couldn't be controlled and would simply crash somewhere. I get that the scene is meant to be funny, but I find it a bit ridiculous for a god with Shin's power level, who's been flying around for literally millions of years, to be afraid of a falling missile, since it's not like he would shatter upon hitting the ground with the seed. He could just jump off and float. That's exactly what they did, in fact. I don't know if I'm being too picky, since, as I said, it's supposed to be a comedy scene. But funny or not, I find it a bit inconsistent. Am I being too picky, or is it a bit odd? Comment and let me know what you think. After they land, Glorio comments that they've managed to make significant progress on their route, but when they ask him how far they are to the castle of the king of the third demon world, he says it's still half a day's walk away. Goku suggests flying, and if they get tired, they can eat one of those insects. But Shin declines, saying he doesn't like insects, and Glorio doesn't like them either. Could this have some meaning for later on? Let's wait and see. As they continue traveling, Goku remembers that Piccolo mentioned the existence of Dragon Balls in the demon realm. Glorio confirms it and says they can even be called the original, implying that they are the very first Dragon Balls. According to him, this opens up a new question for us. Those familiar with the Dragon Ball fandom know that there's a big debate about whether Dragon Ball DAIMA considers Dragon Ball Super Canon or not. In some ways, Dragon Ball DAIMA does seem to consider Dragon Ball Super, for example, when it's mentioned that there's more than one universe. However, in other ways, DAIMA seems to completely disregard Super, like in the way Shin and Kibito's fusion was undone. So, in this case, is DAIMA disregarding Super again by saying that the Demon Realm Dragon Balls are the originals, while everything in Super implies that the original ones are the Super Dragon Balls? Well, DAIMA could indeed be disregarding Super again, but there's also a good chance that Glorio and the rest of the Demon Realm folks have no idea about the existence of the Super Dragon Balls, since that's not information that just anyone has. So this dialogue alone doesn't rule out the Dragon Ball Super storyline, but it's worth keeping an eye out to see if any more information comes up about this. Goku asks how they find these balls. Glorio says they don't need to look for them, because everyone already knows where they are. There are 3 demon worlds. Each orb is in a specific location in each world, and they're guarded by the Tamagamis. Goku and Shin want to know more about the Tamagamis and if they only need to defeat them to get the balls. Glorio says yes, but they're really strong. Goku gets excited, saying it might be fun to go after the orbs and defeat these Tamagamis. But Glorio tells him he can't do that. As far as he knows, no one has ever been able to gather all 3 spheres and have their wish granted. This raises a question about the actual power level of these Tamagamis. We already know that Glorio is aware of Goku being one of the main heroes who defeated Majin Buu, yet he seems doubtful that Goku could gather the Dragon Balls, or rather, defeat the Tamagamis. This could mean that either Glorio doesn't really grasp Majin Buu's power, or that the Tamagamis are simply stronger than Majin Buu. So what do you think? Are the Tamagamis stronger than Majin Buu? Actually, there's a third option I'll mention now. Goku says that if they could gather the Dragon Balls from the Makai world, they could return to being adults. Glorio also adds that they could use them to rescue Dende, and later use Earth's balls to return to normal. With this, Goku decides that it might be best to go look for the balls, and Glorio agrees. But this creates some tension between Glorio and Shin, with Shin clearly doubting Glorio's intentions. If Glorio agreed with the idea of going after the Dragon Balls, it means he believes Goku can defeat the Tamagamis. Otherwise, he wouldn't want to waste time on this. If that's the case, maybe Glorio planted that initial doubt just to get Goku excited about the power of the Tamagamis and make him want to go after the spheres. In other words, Glorio might be manipulating Goku into wanting to find the Dragon Balls. Some might argue that Glorio doesn't know Goku well enough to know how to manipulate him. But guys, it doesn't take much to understand how Goku's mind works, and Glorio has already proven to be very clever. This is confirmed when we see that at the moment Shin agrees to go after the orbs, Glorio turns around with a smile, showing that he indeed wanted this to happen. So yes, it's very possible that Glorio wants the Dragon Balls and manipulated Goku into wanting to go after them, which is precisely what's making Shin suspicious. Goku spots a city and they decide to head there. When they arrive in this city, they see something unusual going on. They see that besides the regular citizens, there are some guys armed with weapons and wearing armor. As soon as Glorio sees these guys, he hides and calls them the Gendarmerie, which is the Demon King's military police. In other words, it's Goma's police. The man who seems to be the leader of this group starts saying they're there to collect taxes, and according to him, King Goma decided that people are paying too little, so he changed the contribution to 3 gold coins, which, judging by everyone's reaction, seems to be a high amount here. This officer also says that those who don't pay will lose 3 years of their life for each missing coin. One person in the crowd says this is absurd and tries to run, but the officer says there's no point in running as they're all wearing collars that track their location. This officer, using a somewhat magical or technological device they carry, activates the collar of the fleeing citizen and brings him back by force, then says that anyone who tries to escape loses another 10 years of life. The people start lining up to pay the tax. There's a guy who can't pay the full amount, and the officers drain his life force using a magical device. The next in line is an old man who has no money at all, but he pleads for mercy because if he loses 9 years of his life, he could end up dying. But the officers don't care and are about to drain his life force. Goku thinks about intervening, but suddenly, a girl appears in the crowd, hiding her identity with a cape and mask, threatening the soldiers with a handmade wasabi bomb. But when she throws the bomb, it fails. She then runs, and the soldiers go after her. When one of them catches her, she knocks him out with a kind of taser. The girl keeps running but is eventually captured. When Goku sees this, he jumps into action, knocking down several officers at once with the power pole. The girl takes advantage of the distraction while the head officer holding her is caught off guard, shocking him to make him release her. Goku then tells her to run. The officers attack Goku, who starts using the power pole to defend and counterattack, knocking out some of them. When Goku sees an opening, he distances himself from the officers, heading to the roof of one of the buildings. But at that moment, the officers use their weapons to shoot lasers at him. Goku continues battling the officers, moving in close to deal out some hard hits to everyone, dodging and deflecting some of their shots, and finally landing a huge blow on one of them. The head officer is completely shocked when he sees this and asks who Goku is. But then Glorio and Shin call for Goku to leave and they escape the city. After they get away, Glorio complains that now Goku has become a fugitive. Goku says he had no other choice since he couldn't let those guys do that. But then that same girl from earlier appears, asking who they are and revealing her face. And to no one's surprise, she's the little girl we've been seeing in the opening, the ending, and the other promotional materials for the anime. I admit her introduction was a bit different from what I imagined. I thought she was the one who stole Glorio's plane, and that they would find her while tracking down the plane. But it turns out it was different from what I had expected. This girl seems to be some sort of aspiring rebellious superhero, and she seems like the type who loves inventing gadgets. You can already picture her getting along really well and learning a lot from Bulma. When she arrives with the others, in the Makai world. And one thing I thought when she revealed her face is that maybe we'll see this girl developing a crush on Goku. I don't know if it's just my impression, but the anime's production focused a lot on her hypnotized expression and gave a special close-up of her eyes. I think it would make sense for her to have a crush on Goku, since he saved her from the officers and was a real hero to the people of that village, which is exactly what she was trying to be. And remember, Goku looks like a kid, so to her, he's just a boy her age. It wouldn't be strange for her to like him after what happened. But of course, Goku won't give her a chance. First, because Goku is much older, and also, he's already married. But her interest could lead to some funny scenes. Of course, they might have focused on her face just to properly introduce her appearance. It might not mean anything significant. Finally, after the ending, we get a small teaser for the next episode showing Goma saying something, Goku fighting more Majins, and a mysterious dark warrior holding a war mace. It suggests we'll be seeing a lot of action in the next episode too. It also reveals that the title of the next episode is Pansy, which might be the name of a character appearing in that episode, just like episode 2 was titled Glorio. And that was episode 4 of Dragon Ball DAIMA. Comment what you thought of this episode. Did you like it? Dislike it? What score would you give this episode from 0 to 10? Share your thoughts. In my opinion, I'd give it a 7 or 8. There wasn't anything particularly extraordinary, but it was less slow compared to the others, with more action scenes. All the fights had really well done animation. Plus, the exploration of the demon realm is pretty interesting in my opinion. Leave a like if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel for more videos on Dragon Ball DAIMA or Dragon Ball in general, and share this video with any other Dragon Ball fan you know. Thank you so much to everyone who stuck with me until the end, and I'll see you in the next video.